Welcome to the Turf and Touchdowns podcast, episode number 35, once again focusing on the horse racing side of things. We've got an NFL video live on our channel right now. There'll be another one coming ahead of this weekend as well. But our focus for episode 35 is the Grade 1 Joe Hirsch Turf Classic at Belmont at the Big A. As always, I'm Luke Elder, joined by my lovely assistant, Tom Collins.
Oh, that's a very nice intro. Thank you for that. Is it because you're happy that last week you put up two solid selections? I mean, one of them was always going to be solid in Torpedo Anna. By the way, on that point, how right were we about the price? And why did the traders keep Torpedo Anna at around 8 to 11 until about 30 minutes before the off? Crazy scenes.
I don't get it. We were in the studio together at Sky. Obviously, we weren't covering the race, but we were sitting there and people kept on emailing in going like, oh, Torpedo Anna, what do you reckon, guys? It's like, well, like even at 4 to 7, this is a value bet, but 8 to 11. And to be fair, we said on the podcast, if the horse is anywhere near the morning line price of 4 to 5, I'd be having a fairly sizable bet on Torpedo Anna. Went off 8 to 11 in the end. Look, she was okay. She managed to win. I thought it was a bit of an ignorant ride in that I thought Connections thought they had by far the best horse in the race. They wanted to give her the softest possible time before the Breeders' Cup. But she got the job done. She didn't wow anybody though, Tom.
No, I wanted a little bit more from her, to be honest, but I still thought it was a good enough performance. Brian Hernandez did get it wrong a touch by just being towards the inside. And I think she might have bounced slightly off that Travers run because she just wasn't anywhere near as explosive. But she still won. She goes towards Breeders' Cup as a horse to beat in the distaff, albeit that division could get a little bit more interesting once Keeneland starts and the other contenders come out and run. And the Pennsylvania Derby, I mean, your selection was solid. Dragoon Guard, he ran an okay race. My selection, Protective, just nowhere near good enough. But another event that we've seen where the horse off the front dominates.
Yeah, and another time that Caesar Gray's done it as well, because he did exactly the same in the Preakness. But that's a look back to last week. As I say, we have got an NFL video live on our channel right now. We will have one ahead of this weekend as well. So if you're an American football fan, thank you to everyone who made our latest NFL video last Sunday, our most successful video yet. Let's try and do that again. And let's get some more subscribers as well. Click that red button down below. If you subscribe to us, you keep updated with everything that we do. Any shorts that we upload with any tips, you will see them as well. But coming out on Friday will be our latest NFL video. Regards to this week, though, the Joe Hirsch Turf Classic. At first look on this race, I was thinking, wow, this is a great race. Can't wait to preview this. I've tempered my enthusiasm a little bit. It's a good race, but I don't want to go too overboard with it. We're going a mile and a half on turf. Let's talk about pace, because I spoke to Andy Serling on Twitter about this, regards to pace. The very obvious pace, I thought, Tom, was Get Smoking. If anyone goes harder than Get Smoking, then they've lost.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Get Smoking should lead, especially because he's drawn inside. When a horse is drawn inside in the US, they only really have one option if they're a prominent racer, and that is to be aggressive. Otherwise, you can just lose your spot. Especially in middle distance races, you just don't want to be out of position. And I feel like Get Smoking's almost guaranteed to be in the lead, at least going around the first turn. There are other horses that want to be prominent in this race. I mean, it's not just full of closers. You've got Silver Knott, who always want to sit prominently. He doesn't really have the desire to get right to the front, but he should be second or third. Daunt has shown some early tactical speed in the past as well. And obviously, Emmanuel has had a couple of occasions where he does want to push forward. But to me, it feels like Emmanuel is going to sit in around fifth. Truly Quality will be ahead of him. Daunt, I think, will be ahead of him, and Silver Knott. And then you're talking about the other three horses who are the closers, the likes of Farbridge, Warlike Goddess, etc. So I think that the shape of this race is pretty obvious when it comes to front runners, closers, and horses that are going to stalk. And I think personally, they're going to go around 48 and change through the half, which should make for a fair race, which is fantastic for an event like this because in New York, when you have middle distance turf races, how many times do we see them just crawl in the early stages? The answer is too many.
Yeah, exactly. It ruins the race, but that will not be this race because Get Smoking's here. That means we're going to go at a strong pace. Let's talk about Silver Knott because he's a horse that we know plenty of from, I would say, his time on these shores because he is trained in North America now. Still by Charlie Appleby, though. Dylan Davis taking the ride, who's had a few rides for Godolphin and Charlie Appleby over in the US so far this season. He's the archetypal good European horse, way better over in the US.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to slightly disagree on this horse. No spoiler alert there. But I am a little bit tentative with him. Look, he's a nice horse, as you say. I haven't really been taken with him this year, despite his successes. He won the Elkhorn, he won the Man of War, he won the Bowling Green. This is a horse that's proper Grade 2 quality, and in all three of those runs we saw his best side. He had tactical speed. He sat near the pace where they went slow. Got a dream trip. He kicked off the front, and nothing could catch him. That was the best part of Silver Knott just going into this year, and he's proven it on 3 occasions. Now, last time in the Sword Dancer, I thought he had a dream trip again, and he didn't get the job done when he was stepped up to Grade 1 company. He was beaten by measured time. He finished second, and Farbridge, who we'll talk about in a minute, who actually reopposes, but he won the race. The likely rain forecast in New York this week won't be a negative towards Silver Knott, though I'm not sure it's a positive. He handles it, but I think he prefers firm turf, but the majority of them do in this race. I'm happy to let him beat me at a relatively short price. To be honest, if he's favourite, I want no part of it, but I can see him definitely going close.
Yeah, he is favourite currently on an anti-post look, but he's not a short price favorite, but I think it's 2-1. I'll get the prices up in a moment. Just regards to the rain, there is rain due today, effectively, which is Wednesday, and also Thursday. Friday and Saturday, though, are meant to be clear regards to weather side of things. So hopefully we're not dealing with anything too soft, just for a fair race all round. Regards to the betting, Silver Knot's currently 2-1, Farbridge 11-4 alongside Warlike Goddess, Get Smoking 9s, Truly Quality 10s, Emmanuel 14s, and Daunt is 40-1. So for all that, yes, Silver Knott is favourite, he's not a short price favourite. I like, regards to Silver Knott, that his best effort over in the US has come at this track and his one visit to Belmont at the Big A. It is a fairly niche track, and some horses like Aqueduct, some horses hate Aqueduct. He ran to a figure of 106 here, when managing to win 3 starts ago now in the Man of War. He went on to Saratoga. He ran in the Bowling Green. It wasn't a fantastic race, but still managed to win it. And then I get what you say last time. I was a bit disappointed by his finishing effort. Farbridge got a bit of a soft lead. We know Farbridge is a good horse, but this was him really adapting to something different. Farbridge won't be able to do that this time around. He's not got as much speed as Get Smoking. He's not going to lead. I don't know what they do with Farbridge, honestly, in this spot. He's an interesting horse, Tom, but he comes off the back of a big effort, and they're just going to have to mix it up again, I think.
Yeah, before I quickly touch on Farbridge, the prices you listed there are European prices,
Yeah.
which we have in the UK for our firms. There's actually no morning line at the time of recording, so those prices could fluctuate dramatically because our firms like to relatively copy the morning line. So this has been filmed early on Wednesday,
But
plenty of days out.
Good job, Bet365. Big fan.
Yes.
Do more
Yeah,
of this.
well done.
This is unbelievable trader work. We're a big fan, and we will back you for this.
Yeah, I like getting prices up early. Well done with that. You're the only firm that actually does it. Talking about Farbridge, he's a horse I've really loved since his debut, to be honest. He beat Carl Spackler at Gulfstream back in 2023 in January. And after that maiden, both those 2 horses went in my tracker. Both horses have come out and subsequently won graded stakes, and they've been, basically holding up the middle distance turf division in the US. He's had issues, Farbridge, lugging to his left in races. We see him at his best when either he races against the rail throughout and makes his challenge late against the fence, or if he can get on the front like last time in the Sword Dancer. The only way he can get on the front is if there's no pace in the race. So that's not going to happen here, as you've said. There's just no chance that he'll lead. And unfortunately for connections, he's drawn the outside post. So somehow he's going to have to try and get across to the rail, in my opinion, if we're going to see the best of him. If he races wide and challenges wide, I think he'll underperform again. Softer conditions, if it happens, I have to always put the if it happens, because it could be good ground rather than firm ground. That would be absolutely fine for him. He handles it every time he races on it, yielding, good, soft, no problem for Farbridge. So that's not a negative. He is a player because of his high talent level, but I really just don't like the pace scenario and the draw scenario for him in this spot.
Yeah, I think the setup for him is all wrong, honestly. If they try and go forward and sit second, maybe that might help out. But he's an interesting horse, but he's not one that I'd be looking to play in this contest. One that many will be looking to play is at the same price, 11-4 currently, Warlike Goddess, who she's been a wonderful racehorse for connections over the last few years or so. She's taken them to some very, very sunny heights, but ran in the Flower Bowl last time around, and she just didn't get her rub of the green. She raced a bit further back. Idea Generation stole the race off the front end. Look, Warlike Goddess isn't the superstar horse that we used to know. This isn't Warlike Goddess from 2 years ago, but she's still very talented, Tom.
Yeah, she's a wonder mare. We both fell in love with her early in her career. She's won 12 of her 21 starts. And when a mare does that, how can you not love them? She's amassed almost $3 million in prize money in the process as well. So she's been a great stalwart for her connections. She's a back-to-back winner of this race, which I think is very important. This is going to be part of her program, whereas some of these other horses may just fall into the spot of running in the Joe Hirsch Classic. She won those two renewals at 4-5 and 7-2 respectively, which tells you that last year when she was 7-2, it was no cakewalk. That was run on yielding turf, and she was very impressive.
Mhm.
So my thinking is, if it gets softer underfoot, she's going to probably go off favourite here. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case anyway, even if it was firm, just because of the horse she is. This trip sees her at her best. She runs very well at Aqueduct as well. And I think conditions are right for her, as is the setup. She needs pace to change. She can be keen early in her race. So she needs some sort of early fractions to actually settle down, drop ahead, and race kindly for her rider. I love how she's working. And to be honest, I think she's the most likely winner in this spot.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Joel Rosario in the earlier days messed up this ride a lot on Warlike Goddess and had her too far back. The setup should be absolutely perfect for her in this. So look, to chase a horse like Get Smoking for a classy closer like her is an absolute dream. So you would like to think that Warlike Goddess will be featuring in the closing stages. It just depends on how far Get Smoking gets away from the field. Because we'll mention Get Smoking as well. Is a horse that I was really keen on last time around. Just had to go some suicidal fractions at Kentucky Downs. The Balladeer was chasing the whole way. The race, it couldn't have gone worse for Get Smoking. But the one thing you will say is that front runners, once people work them out like that and they can force them just to go a little bit too hard, that's how you then get them beaten.
Yeah, I think New York is a great spot generally for Get Smoking because they do go pretty slow in these kind of races, and that would obviously suit him. I'm not necessarily sure that this race is like that. I think there will be some speed up there and some pace pressure, albeit not horses that really want to lead, but horses that just don't want to go a crawl. So I think this race is probably like a B setup for Get Smoking. A good setup, but not a great setup. And to be honest, sorry Harlan for this, I don't actually think he's good enough to beat some of these horses. So as much as he's an interesting runner in the race, and last time he had obvious excuses, I can't really buy into Get Smoking winning the Joe Hirsch this year.
That's Harlan Malta, who helps run the Iron Horse Racing Syndicate, who owns Get Smoking. Whenever you say something like that, I'll just get a text from Harlan with expletive Tom. And that's it. That'll be it. So I'm waiting for that one.
Look, I'd love him to run well, if that's any consolation.
No, he won't like that. But I agree. But the good thing for Harlan is that whenever I doubt Get Smoking, he wins. And whenever I'm like, yep, he's going to win this, nah, nothing. But best of luck with Get Smoking. Any of the other three, Truly Quality, Emmanuel or Daunt?
No, Daunt and Truly Quality will be forward in the race, but I don't think they're good enough. Emmanuel could be good enough if he produces his A game, but how often does he do that? The answer is not very. So I can't be with him. He could be a fair price. Well, he is currently in the UK, but he may be on the morning line as well, around 8-1, I think, on the morning line. That would be my guess anyway. So look out for the price on Emmanuel. I don't like him in the race, but I suppose you've got to give him some kind of second look.
Yeah, it's a difficult race to bet him because if you do like one at a price, two places. Because we've only got 7 runners here. So it is tricky over in the UK. I feel like you can kind of work out who we like in this race from the way we've spoken. But Tom, if you could reveal your selection, please.
Yeah, I'm with Warlike Goddess in the Joe Hirsch. Hopefully 3 consecutive wins in the race for this Wonder Mare. I just think the setup's perfect for her. She seems to be running very well this year. Her run 2 back when she won the Robert Dick Memorial. She came off a slow pace and still managed to beat the likes of Chop Chop, which is a good piece of form. Last time she should have won, as you say, the front runner, the pacemaker, just basically got away from them. Warlike Goddess ran the best race. I just like her. I think she should be favourite, relatively short price favourite at that, around 2-1. And anything bigger, I'm more than happy to take.
Yeah, well, I like the 2-1 favourite. I like Silver Knott in here, who I think is a fair price at 2s. I don't think he's outrageous value. I think he's right enough at that sort of price. But like I say earlier on, I like the fact his career best effort has come here at Belmont at the Big A. That was very good 3 starts ago. Disappointing last time around, yes, but I think this is a better alternative. I like that he's got pace to run at here as well. Dylan Davis on board. I don't hate that whatsoever. Dylan's been running absolutely fantastically for the last year, it would seem. And I feel like this is going to be Silver Knott's real test. I don't think he's going to be a horse that goes for the Breeders' Cup turf. If he wins this, maybe he will, but I think he's going to be fully amped up for this contest, and I think this is Silver Knott spot. So Silver Knott for myself, Warlike Goddess for Tom. We're ignoring Farbridge, so Farbridge is probably an absolute certainty in this spot. But that's another horse racing podcast in the books. Tom, anything else you wanted to mention? Just get off your chest.
No, not to get off my chest. I'll save that for the NFL podcast that we're filming tomorrow. What I will say, though, is next week we'll be covering Keeneland. I have no idea which race because it is the first weekend of Keeneland. And I tell you, I've looked at the stakes noms and nominations and it looks incredible. There are 7 Breeders' Cup winning ring races just on that Friday, Saturday and Sunday at Keeneland. So we'll pick and choose a couple maybe rather than just one. But next week's horse racing podcast will be one that you definitely should not miss.
Yeah, honestly, just tweet Tom as much as possible and say, can we cover like 5 races? Because if you do that, we might get to. But Tom decides the races. Just bombard him with stuff saying, Tom, we want as many previews as possible. But Keeneland is back. Cannot wait for Keeneland to return. But say that is a look forward to Saturday and the Joe Hirsch Turf Classic. If you did enjoy this horse racing preview, leave a comment down below who you like in the Joe Turf Hirsch Classic, that one. And also any other fancies you may well have at the weekend. Also subscribe as well. You'll be kept up to date with everything that we do, including NFL content as well. There is an NFL video live right now on the channel. There'll be another one on the weekend. And on our socials, we are at Turf Touchdowns on Twitter. We're at Turf and Touchdowns everywhere else. Tom, thank you for your company.
Yeah, thank you. Been a good app. Hopefully a couple of winners to come from this podcast and the NFL Thursday Night Football podcast as well. And then I'll see you tomorrow to record Sunday's NFL slate. Look forward to that one. I've got something special lined up, mate.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But until we next see you, of course, on that NFL episode, stay safe, look after one another,